Hello and welcome. This is the 1988 Polaris snowmobile brochure. Here in Alaska we call them snow machines, so you'll probably hear me use that term. That's what I'm used to. So the first page of this brochure is amazing. There's a TX, a 1979 you can see on the left page. We used to have one of those. My brother had it. It was a 250. I love that one. And then towards the middle, there's a 1985 Trail Indy, and that's the first Trail Indy I ever rode, and it was like magic. You can see Sport Indy in there. There was a TXL, which is a liquid-cooled 340. That was their cross-country sled, the Springer. It was awesome. The 650 Indy. So there was one, it was like a early production one in our town back in 88. I remember it being white. And I don't know if the 88s suffered the same thing, but there was an issue with these engines that at a certain RPM, you weren't supposed to run it at a certain RPM. I don't know how you figure that out, but they vibrated. I think they got that fixed for 89, but these were a very fast sled. Pretty amazing. The 400 Indy kind of has a checkered past, at least here in our area. The 80, when did it come out? 85, 84, 85. Anyway, some of them ran, some years ran. I think the 85 kind of ran like poop, and then 86 ran good. 87 was questionable. So, big thing about this, see these 88s, the hood? This was new for 88. They went to this new body style, and same old Indy underneath, but it looked much more modern. I never paid attention to these deluxe editions. But this is just like a limited build. I like I said, I didn't pay any attention to them. So this is my favorite, Trail Indy. You notice it's still in the old body style that originated from 1980. The reason they did that is because the new 88 hood was made out of a RAIM plastic. And from what I was told, the ducting of the motor would melt that hood, so they used the old one until they got that figured out. The one that I wanted to get had the 38-inch ski stance, but then one of the guys down here is like, "Oh, you don't want that. On the trails, it'll be too wide and it'll throw you from side to side." Well, he was an idiot. I should have, back when I wanted one, that's what I should have got. But anyway, I don't know how common they were. Usually they had a 36-inch ski stance. But these won the Iron Dog. They were raced. They're awesome. The Sport Indy was amazing. Look at that, $299 or $2,999. My brother had one. He got a 90 that had the new style hood. They came out in 87. The 88 had a little better graphics. This is a true Indy. It's amazing. What it lacked was a front bumper and a sway bar. And it had the older style rear suspension, which wasn't as strong with the way the rear scissors were. They were sheet metal type scissors. We used to replace them with the TXL part. Anyhow, this is a great sled. I never was into these old Springers here. They weren't as good as I mentioned it in a previous video. They weren't as good as the Springers we had from the 70s and early 80s, like the TXs, TXCs, TXLs. I don't know. There just really weren't that many of them in our town, and heck, so we're talking late 80s here. Who wants to ride a Springer when you had Indies to ride? So the Star Trek, that one in the lower right corner, the cops had one. And we used to laugh because we knew if they were to ever chase us, they're not going to catch us on a 250 single. It just was, and it actually just went up for auction a few years ago. Somebody here in town bought it. I looked at it, I'm like, I don't need that old machine. Now I kind of, it's always like that. I kind of wish I would have got it. But, oh well, it's still around, running around. You can see your brochures, brochure. You can see the accessories that are available. The covers, I remember, because I had a 90. It was my first brand new Indy I ever bought. And that cover turned gray, like, after the first summer. The new covers are much better than these old ones. It looks like in a picture you can see a track rolled up. That's probably for the 133 Snow King Special kit. That was the long track at the time from a 121. And then I was thinking how this was marketed. Because look at that. You get a snow machine, and then you can get to meet a hot girl, and she sits in a hot tub with you. So why wouldn't you want to be a snow machine rider? And it's hard for me to look at my phone to tell. I should just grab the brochure. I'm almost thinking it's probably a wedge style helmet, which was really popular. And if they had the Sizzler gloves, I had a pair in I got them fall of 89. I liked them. Oh, they actually might be shown here. And I wonder, I was thinking the snowsuit looks like it's a two-piece. Oh, see, there's the Sizzler mitts. I had the Sizzler gloves. I wore them. I really liked them, and I wore them so much I actually wore them through. That's what I used to wear. And I think, like I say, that helmet I think is the wedge style. Different OEMs were all using that same kind of helmet. So I tried to leave this on here for long enough so you don't have to hit pause to look at the specifications. But what's really cool, what I miss way back when, is see how simple the lineup is? You just had one model for each machine. They had 5 different indies, and then they had the 4 springers. So a total of 9 snow machines. That's all you needed. Why do we have so many freaking models nowadays when they're selling way less snow machines? Well, I guess in the 80s they didn't. Because in the 80s, I think they were selling very few snow machines. I think we're pretty comparable, though, now as compared to then, because it really jumped up. 1997 is when it peaked. And then it's been going downhill since then. But one thing I noticed, they didn't list the dry weight. I don't know why. Polaris didn't have anything to hide back then because they were the lightest machines. They had an all-aluminum chassis where Yamaha didn't, neither did Arctic Cat. And Ski-Doos didn't. Well, that's the end. Thanks for watching.